sometimes, that silence at home can be quite deafening, and you
I
just
hear you. Dear government of Singapore, 4 months is not enough.
yes, 4 months is not enough. I never really stopped working, Steph. I was replying emails when I was in labor.
Oh no.
So labor is difficult, but no one tells you how
Yeah.
difficult breastfeeding is.
Breastfeeding is the hardest.
I was breaking down a lot in that first few weeks after coming back because
As a mom and in their business, what is one thing you could say and share with them?
I think first of all,
Today we're talking about navigating returning to work postpartum and understanding the balance between motherhood and entrepreneurship. So we are speaking to Wanda, who has been a speech therapist for 10 years, close to 10 years now, and has founded Ohana Therapy in the last 3 years. So before diving in, Wanda, how was your morning, navigating a newborn of 4 months and business?
hi Steph. First of all, thanks so much for having me. My morning was quite hectic, as you know, with a 4-month-old and going through cluster feeding at the moment. So just lots of running around to make sure I get here on time. But it's a pleasure to be here. I'm really excited to share more about my journey into motherhood as a business owner.
I'm very interested to understand your story of how success looks like or how a productive morning looks like before you had baby.
Before I had baby, I was quite a workaholic. I would spend I usually work Monday to Saturdays, really. Saturdays are our busiest day because clients can come in and bring their kids on Saturdays when there's no school, right?
That's fair enough.
So usually I fill my mornings with meetings, so meeting people like yourself, people like we can collaborate with or want to work with. And then, I also go into schools to do trainings with teachers. And after that, in the afternoons, I will see clients. So working with families, supporting families and their kids. And on Saturdays, usually it's full day of just client facing work.
I would love to understand, if you could share a moment in your past, present, or anything recently that you felt like you just couldn't do it anymore.
I actually gave birth in Sydney, not in Singapore, because my husband's from Sydney. And when we were there, we had our whole village. Like even my family flew over to support me and was there for a few months. So we had his family, my family, everyone's taking a turn to kind of help me with the baby. But when we moved back to Singapore, that was when I felt like everything just came crashing down. Because first of all, my clients were starting to look for me and asking, when's Mona coming back? When can we see her again? So a lot of pressure from work. I was also navigating being alone at home as my husband goes back to work. Because while we were in Sydney, he was on his paternity leave. So he was with me 24/7.
Oh, that must have been nice.
It was nice while it lasted. When we got back though, it was really like boom, suddenly I find myself being alone with my baby. And sometimes, that silence at home can be quite deafening, and you
I
just
hear you.
what do I do, right? My mom tries to help, but she flies back and forth between Jakarta and Singapore, so she's not always in Singapore to help. And that was also the period where, so adjusting to moving back, right? And being alone with baby and navigating work and trying to find that balance between still entertaining work stuff and
But
baby.
you only took 2 months off work, and then on the 3rd month you continued work already. That's really soon.
I never really stopped working, Steph. The struggle of being a business owner. So my husband still makes fun of me to this day, but I was replying emails when I was in labor.
Oh no.
So you can't ever let go because the business is my first baby, right?
Right.
My first baby.
Yes.
And I love it very much. And even when I was in Sydney, I was still managing the team remotely. I was still answering questions, taking online calls as and when. But it's okay. It's okay when you have people helping you watch the baby, right? But since coming back, I don't know, I think maybe my baby's becoming more aware as well. There were a lot of changes. He was very fussy at the start when we, in his home, in his new home, right? We were also going through a period of breastfeeding challenges, right? Everyone says, yeah, labor is difficult, but no one tells you how difficult breastfeeding
Between
is.
pregnancy, labor, and breastfeeding is the hardest.
The hardest.
Do you know, my doctor said, good luck, this is the hardest part.
Yes.
To me, and I was like, what? This is what you're leaving me with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one really prepares you for it, right? And yeah, to answer your question, I was breaking down a lot in that first few weeks after coming back, because he was increasingly rejecting my boobs. Like, he doesn't want to latch, he doesn't want to feed from me. I think he was growing a bottle preference as well.
Do you find out why? Do you try to...
Yeah, so we searched for answers, and I think we spent so much money going to lactation consultants. We saw an osteo, we saw a pediatricians, we saw all the consultants that we could, both in Sydney and Singapore. I think there are a few things, right? So the first one that I went through a period of a lot of self-blame was I just don't have a lot of supply. And I think that took me a long time to accept. My mom told me that she had difficulties breastfeeding as well. But, being an entrepreneur and knowing that I can do this, you always think, oh, I'll be different, right? I'll be different. I'll be fine. I can breastfeed. But it's not. The reality is genetics play a factor, right? So supply issues, we went to see a few doctors. I'm on multiple supplements and medication to kind of help increase that supply. And then from the baby angle, we also sought help from a few lactation consultants. I went to a TCM to kind of get my supply regulated as well. But yeah, from the baby angle, we figured out that because at the start my supply took so long to come in, because he was an induced baby, and I think my body just wasn't ready, and my supply took really long to come in. So we had already started on the bottle, so he built up a bottle preference from the get-go. And at the same time, I think he just it's just a lot faster with the bottle, because you get it a lot quicker, whereas on the boob sometimes it requires more effort for him to get out.
So the question of supply has always been an interesting one, because your body responds to your baby and what they need. So it is also how much the baby is asking from you, right? So if the baby is asking for more milk, your body will be, I need to produce more.
Yeah.
And that was what I learned like later on in life, which I'm like, I wish they told me that, because they were like, throw away the pump. I'm like, I can't throw away the pump, because I'm depending on the pump, because my baby came early and didn't have enough strength to take from me. And that was where I went through the whole like mom guilt and shame and as well. And then when I finally got it, it was past 6 months. Before that, I was crying, and the pain was really bad.
I completely understand where you're coming from, because pumping is a whole other beast. It's so uncomfortable, and even with the most comfortable of pumps that your friends recommend, it's exhausting. And maintaining that schedule of pumping every 2 to 3 hours, it's also not fun. And when you are, for me, because of the supply issues, when you're pumping every 2 to 3 hours for 15-20 minutes and you only get 20 mils, you just want to punch somebody, right?
I agree.
So when people ask me moments when I feel like I really want to lose it, I think is due to that, due to the breastfeeding. And I think I blame myself a lot.
Don't.
Well, you can't help it, because the root cause is from him being induced. That's because I had a lot of complications during labor and pregnancy as well. So I found that that was my fault. I blamed myself for him having to be induced. And then I blamed myself for not having enough supply. And then I blamed myself for, I don't know, just, I always felt very inadequate. I know I shouldn't, and I've come a long way since there, but
And coming from someone who's so accomplished and successful in life, you know, and you're still having these thoughts in your mind that play at you, you know. And
it's very hard.
what has changed for you? Because, you know, you had these grand plans of opening this up and you're ready to start a family. Today your little one is 4 months old. And do you think anything has shifted in your life?
Well, the amount of work I'm doing has definitely shifted. A lot of my focus is definitely on the baby now. My husband and I, we don't have a helper, so definitely the focus is on him working and for me to be at home with the baby. The focus is very much baby first, and then work as and when he's napping. If that makes sense, yeah.
I want to put this in. Dear government of Singapore, 4 months is not enough.
Yes, 4 months is not enough. 4 months is nowhere close to being enough, because at 4 months they're going through their sleep regression and a lot of changes, right? And that's when they need us the most.
Yes,
so
exactly.
we shouldn't be called back to work yet.
Yeah, I think
6 months minimum.
probably 6. Yeah, the sweet spot for me, I think, is at least 6 months. In many countries, they give up to 1 year. And
Yeah.
look, you don't even need to, you know, give paid maternity the whole time, but at least allow the option and gentle easing back into, you know, the workforce a little bit more. Yeah.
That's a whole new topic on itself.
Yes,
we can
it
go
is.
on and on and on.
But today we're talking about navigating the struggles of motherhood and holding a business and entrepreneurship and really finding our balance through it all. So what has gotten you through so far? How did you hang on and you know, you can sit here today talking to me?
I think I put on my work hat on, right? Because at work I support a lot of families, and I'm always telling parents A, B, C, D, E, and it's when I'm a mom, sometimes I forget the things that I know. So you know, it's as a
Amen. Preach.
Yes.
Is that mom brain?
Yeah, it is a mixture of mom brain and also just, I don't know, everything just goes out the window, because as a speech therapist we help parents with feeding difficulties as well, including like bottling
Oh, that's
challenges.
interesting.
Yeah, bottling challenges, latching challenges, some of us, right? So I know a lot of these things. Like, why am I not applying it to my own life, right? So taking a step back really helped. But I think the greatest help for me is my husband. He is thankfully very supportive of me having to find answers. So when people say breastfeeding is free, it's not true. Because first of all, pumps are expensive.
Correct.
Second of all, going to all these TCM, lactation consultants, doctors, they're not cheap,
No,
right? So,
it's the harder route, I feel.
yeah. So some days I feel like, you know, why am I going through all these things when I can just formula feed him? But I mean, he's being mixed fed, right? But yeah, my husband has been pivotal in helping me get to a place where I am happy and I'm comfortable with our current arrangement.
Kudos to you, Wanda's husband.
He will be happy to hear that. Yeah, I think also knowing yourself and acknowledging where you're at, and if you're struggling, find help, right? Talk to people. Yeah, ask for help, because more people are going through it than you think.
Yeah.
Like through this journey of breastfeeding.
But it is so hard to ask for help. Like just to
It is.
who to ask for help,
It is,
and
it
putting
is.
yourself in that space where you can ask for help. Like, let's just acknowledge that it is hard to do.
It's very hard to start. I think for me, it was really, really hard to start. But once I just pushed myself, right, like how we started talking about this topic in the first place, I just started asking other moms, like, how was your breastfeeding journey? Because I myself wanted to find out, is there something I can improve on? Is there something I can improve on? And from that, I think a lot of people started opening up and telling me their stories. And then I figure out I'm not alone. Like there are a lot of
Yes.
people that are going through
Struggling
this.
as well.
Yeah. And I used to have this misunderstanding that people with larger boobs have more milk. But you know, you'd be
I
surprised.
mean, it's logical.
Yeah, it's logical, right? But you'll be surprised because other people I speak to, they say like it's not. They also have supply issues. They can also have supply issues, and that reassured me a
It's
lot.
comforting for sure. Yeah.
It's reassured me that
Size
you
does
know,
not matter.
the size doesn't matter. So if you are in a position where you have all these issues going on, remember that there are people out there that are going through it with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
So if a new mom with say 4 months old, 0 to 6 months old, they are trying to return to work postpartum and they feel like they're failing as a mom and in their business, what is one thing you could say and share with them?
I think first of all, I want to remind them to be kind to themselves, right? Give themselves a lot of grace. We as new moms, managing work, managing a business, there's a lot of adapting to do. We're not perfect. I think it's more important to be present than to be perfect. There'll be some days when your business will need you more. There are some days when your baby will need you more.
Yes, exactly.
And it's about taking the time to find that balance that works for you. And like I mentioned earlier, just to not be afraid to ask for help. I know I'm quite lucky that I have family I can rely on, and some people don't have that. Some people have helpers, I don't, right? And the level of support that people have are different, but if possible, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to reach out to a friend, to your parents, parent-in-law, sibling, because it really does take a village to raise a child.
Yes. Let's practice this though. How will you ask for help? Let's say, for example, Sudo, you're really struggling, and there's someone that you know that you really look up to. How would you ask?
So I have great friends that have literally offered to just take the baby up, they'll watch the baby for 1 or 2 hours while I just have some time to myself. Because sometimes when you are just alone with the baby all day, your husband's in the office, right? You just need a break.
Yes, 1 hour
Just
or
need a
two.
break. 1 hour to
Yeah.
take a long bath, to catch up on your messages. I have so many ignored messages, and you just need that 1 hour of someone coming in, or even someone to come in and visit you and talk to you. Because
Adult conversation.
Adult conversation.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
You can go
People
crazy if you don't have that.
Yeah, people don't realize how important it is to
Yeah.
still have that, right?
I think I
So,
wanted chocolate.
hello, anytime. I will deliver chocolates to you. But yeah, so I would
Ask for chocolates, guys.
Yeah, ask for what you need. Your friends are there for you, especially those who have been through it, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I would just go up and say like, hey, can you just come to my place for an hour or two and just talk to me and bring me some sashimi.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Because mothers should support each other.
Yes,
And
I
think-
agree wholeheartedly. That's
Yes.
what we're doing here today.
Yeah.
So, okay, just looking forward, is there something that is happening in the horizon that you're very excited about that you'd like to share?
I think I'm just looking forward to finding that balance between being a business owner and being a mom.
Yeah, we're still navigating this.
We are still navigating this,
Yeah.
and I want to acknowledge that I'm imperfect, but I am doing my best. And I think that's what's most important.
Being true to ourselves.
Being true to ourselves, acknowledging our flaws, and improving constantly day to day. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to being able to juggle both and finding a sweet spot, because we're not there yet, but
No.
we're almost there.
Almost there, but we never really arrive. I feel it's just a matter of doing the best that we can, one day at a time.
Yeah, one day at a time, one step at a time.
Yes, high five.
Hey.
Thank you. I love how Wanda shared the reality of motherhood while navigating having to run her own business, which she started 3 years ago. So just being real with what her experience is really like, I feel, is strength in itself. I love how, she highlights how she prepared with all the knowledge that she has, brought her to a moment where even when she was all prepared, but when the moment arrived for her to be alone with her baby, she still felt scared, and she went through that fear and shock, and for someone to share that on camera, no less, that is strength in vulnerability. And the main message here is for us to understand this happens to all of us and that you are not alone. And as Wanda has shared as well, please ask that friend to come over to give chocolate or to bring a food, or just have that 1 hour of alone time where you can take a bath. And that's how we can get through this journey together.